Hi, my name is Bob Walker. My name is all lowercase, and yes, I do have branding rules. My pronouns are they, them, or he, him. My Twitter handle is RJW1. I currently work as a senior operations engineer at DXW. We are hiring. So I'm here to talk to you about questions you should ask at your interview. First, a word about privilege. I am a degree-educated, white, cis, heterosexual male. I am playing the game of life on easy mode. If you don't feel able to ask all of the following questions, then trust your judgment rather than mine. If you're also playing on easy mode, I encourage you to ask these questions to normalise them. Why? Remember that as well as the company interviewing you, you are interviewing them. Working somewhere bad is not good for you. I hope that these questions help you work out if the company is right for you. Also, it's better than the uncomfortable silence when they ask if you have any questions for them. Be prepared. As with everything in life, being prepared is good. I have these questions readily available and scare interviewers when I take out my phone to go through them. You also need to know what answers you want and indeed be prepared to answer them as well, since some can be turned back on you, which brings me to: what do you think DevOps means? You should ask this to make sure that the company gets what DevOps is and doesn't do the worst thing, which is have 3 separate teams called Ops, DevOps and Dev. Bad answers to this are a job role or a team. Good answers are a culture or a way of working which they should be able to elaborate on. This is a question you should be able to answer yourself, so be prepared. In an interview last year, the interviewers had done their research and had found my questions on GitHub, so started asking me them. My answer to what do you think DevOps means is everyone working together to ship code to production to meet user needs quickly. I said this in several interviews. When was your last production outage and what was it? This should lead to an interesting discussion about their tech stack and give you a good idea of how bad or good it is. Bad answers are we can't tell you or we haven't had one unless they tell you why they haven't. Asking what you mean by an outage is a good answer just as well as telling you the story. What is the on-call rota like? Being on call should not be painful. #humanops. And it's a good indication of how things are done. A bad but honest answer to this is a pit of despair and misery, which means it's possibly constantly waking people up. Good answers are non-existent, shared with everyone, for some value of everyone, and not painful. What is the diversity of the team company like? Diverse teams produce better results and work well together. Working with a bunch of white men, quite frankly, is boring and will breed a bad culture. Bad answers, we don't think about it. The company is, but the team isn't. The ideal is answer something along those lines. It's not just about diversity, it's about inclusion as well. What are you doing as a company to increase diversity and inclusion with the tech industry? Companies should care about this, and try not to say nothing. Good answers are supporting and hosting meetups, underrepresented groups, and mentoring and the like. What is your company policy on shared parental leave? This is a question that people playing on easy should definitely ask to normalise it. It shows how much the company cares about all its workforce. Bad answers include, what's that? And I think we have one. The best answer is full pay while on shared parental leave, something civil service. How are pay rises determined? Pay rises should be determined in a fair and open manner, preferably every quarter to match market rates. You shouldn't have to ask for one. It's a good indicator of how much they care about diversity and inclusion. The worst answer I've had to this is meritocracy. If someone says meritocracy, they really don't get diversity and inclusion. Bad answers also include by shadowy cabal. How are promotions determined? Promotions should be determined in a fair and open manner, preferably every quarter. You shouldn't have to ask one. It's a good indicator of how much they care about diversity and inclusion. The worst answer I've had to this is meritocracy. If someone says meritocracy, they really don't get diversity and inclusion. No, there isn't a glitch in the matrix. What is the dress code? This is something I care about a lot. Ideally, the dress code should be wear clothes and not something involving suits. Talking of which, you should wear what you're comfortable with to the interview. So that may be a suit for you. It isn't for me. If the company cares what you're wearing, you probably don't want to work there. How is the company doing financially? It's always a good question to ask, especially at startups. As my father always told me, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. A good company should be happy to tell you this stuff. I won't work at startups now. I just play the Euro Millions instead. Quick fire round. So I'm going to have a quick pause now. This talk has been a sample of questions I ask at interviews. We're now going to go through the others very quickly without much explanation. I'm pausing, don't worry. What is the company culture like? Helpful to gauge what your interviewer thinks it is. Do you think the company is going places? Hopefully it will be, but you never know. You might get an honest answer that it isn't. What would success look like for this role? This question is such a cliche, but it's worth asking to see if the role is the right fit for you. Conferences and training. Personal development is important. Any good company will pay for you to go to conferences and allow time for training. Working in the open. I used to work for GDS and nearly all the repos I worked on are open, which is a good thing. Policy on public speaking and blogging. Can you come and do talks like this one? Contributing to open source. You should be able to without jumping through hoops. How noisy is the office? I find noisy office really distracting, mainly because I'm a highly sensitive person. Working from home. I need to work from home 1 day a week, otherwise I get overwhelmed. Decent places to work shouldn't mind this. Working hours. These should be flexible. I currently do 10 to 6, but can vary that if needed. How much crunching is there? Just say no to crunching. If you want to come and ask me and my colleagues these questions, we are hiring. I have a talk section on my website which has slides for the long version of talks. I've been Bob. Thank you very much.